Hi, Tolemykus. I don't know. You know what? I just noticed that I the time wrong for the live stream. I was looking over and I'm like, why the hell is it not giving me like 1 minute left? And then I had it set for 9 p.m. So who knows? Maybe it'll just be the two of us today. I know. Oh, there's Harro Bosma. Great to see you. Yes, I don't, like I said, I have no idea how many people watched the thing. So I guess you guys clued in that we're not doing the Paul Hederer live special this week. It's getting postponed. Oh, you're on standby. Excellent. Yeah. So like I said, maybe it'll just be the three of us. Oh well. And the weird thing is that at the beginning of the week, I assumed we were going to do the interview with Paul Hederer. So I was like, oh great, I got the slack off. And which is exactly what I did. And then later on in the week, it was like, oops, it's not going to happen. And I was like, oh no. So there's no after hours show in a sense, which is the irony is when I was thinking to myself, oh, I can slack off this week. It was, if anything, I could have done that because I was like, well, you're still going to do the war summary after Paul Hederer does whatever. William Arends, great to see you, man. From Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And yet again, Tolemykus. Oh, great to see you, Meandering Mike. I was just mentioning to the other people that I had the time wrong set on my thingamajig, and I didn't realize until I was wondering why I didn't say like 1 minute and do a countdown. And then I went, oops. So at the beginning there, I was just assuming it was just going to be Tolemykus and I. Hey, great to see you, Brian R. Smith. Oh my gosh, and Zoe Dufour. So I'm way off base with what I thought was going to happen today. So I'm going to hide your quote, Tolemykus. Yet again, I'm loving these things. And I'm going to say as well, even though I don't think anybody got anything on the, okay, hold on here. Let me at least present the screen. I hope you guys are all doing great. Brian R. Smith, using the dog ate my homework excuse. Sure. What? No. Like I said, I thought for sure that we were going to have the interview this week. So I was like I said, I was like, okay, great. I got the slack off. And then I was like, oh, shoot. So we'll see how we go. Anyways, I did wanted to do it last week and we never got around to it, which was show just a lot of maps. Not going to be in any context or whatever, but eventually, William Arends, you still have, yes, exactly it. It's queued up, William Arends. I still have some of your ATA. You're darn right I do. So please let me know how you guys are doing there. You can see the narrative and we'll get into it. Yeah, here's a live stream fact checker. It's going to come into the Big Bertha thing. Yet again, with the Big Bertha bingo, it's paying dividends for me massively because 99% of these battles, I don't have a clue what they are. And they're leading me into some really interesting things. For example, Julian Bing, I was watching the show on this week's battle, which I'm going to talk about very soon. I thought Julian Bing was a Canadian all this time. No, he was just in charge of the Canadian Corps and whatnot. I think he ends up becoming Governor General of Canada later on. But I was like, okay, here's my discussion question of the week. What if the July crisis did not start the Great War? What if they had figured out like a la balance of powers is got, I think, William Arends, you've got it. I think at the very beginning in that game, you can do, there's some kind of mechanism if you want to use, you can, it's almost like a choose your own adventure and of how things are going to go. And there's a possibility that they're not going to, the Great War is not going to occur there. So I'm just curious of what you guys think about that. Is it just going to postpone the inevitable? Or do you think perhaps people would have, we would have had a continued peace for a long time? I don't know. Be interesting to see what you guys think about this. So as you know, last week's battle number was the Battle of Mărăști. Darn it, I'm already forgetting what the hell that was about. Oh my God. And as we know, last round one was Meandering Mike, round two is Tolemykus, and you didn't hop up Harro Bosma, as in you didn't leapfrog anybody from last week's answer for tanks, but you certainly went up the board. Like, I mean, you went up in points, for goodness sakes. And anybody's new, when we do the big, the who or what am I in World War I, it's exactly what you think. I'm just going to put out clues, 6 clues. I try to very obscure at the very beginning usually, and then this week I think it'll be fairly quick. But you just get a point anyways for guessing. So just guess away, for goodness sakes. I did do a, believe it or not, a pinup guy, a gal and guy of the week. Miss Maud Allen, interesting character. She popped up in the Globe articles several times in the past few weeks. So I went and wanted to go find out about her, and it was this thing about she's on a tour. She's a Canadian dancer and whatnot, and she likes to dance to like classical music, and so she does these dance plays or something. But we'll take a look at her in a bit. But she's quite a provocative person. She ends up getting some music that was actually scored by Debussy specifically for her. I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. Corporal George Louis Eastman, he's the guy of the week due to the fact for what Cherami's bringing for Big Bertha Bingo. He was in this battle. He's going to die in this battle. But the interesting anecdote for him is that he's famous Canadian for catching in a previous battle. Holy Jesus. Catching a grenade thrown by the Germans, and he threw it back at them. I'm like, what the hell? That's just nuts. Tolemykus says, madmen crave war, no delays. Yeah. And I certainly would like to show you a little bit of the artillery barrage during the Battle of the Somme. I just think it would be rather interesting. Like I said, maps, hopefully we'll go through this maps bit. Here's the game-related news update. Charles Latora's not around, darn it. I hope we'll have to mention it to him at some other point. But I found out about this bizarre weapon called the Villar Perosa double machine gun. And it was supposed to be like a portable machine gun that used rifle bullet or pistol bullets or whatever. I don't know, like a small caliber or whatever. And it wasn't all that effective, I don't know, or something like that. But I've got a picture of it mounted to an Italian soldier's. It's got it mounted to a bicycle. I was like, Jesus Christ. I would like to certainly go to the National World War I Museum and Memorial Events calendar. The ones that I saw, as far as I know, you don't need to be a member. So if there's anybody who wants to sign up for these things online, one of them is really neat about is President Wilson a kook or something like that. I was like, oh, I for sure want to see that. Not so quiet on the Western Front. That brought me for that question, the discussion question that you saw. What if? They've got a bunch, and this is where we're going to get into the battle. A bunch of Canadiana has popped up this week. So they've got, I think, the latest 2 episodes that they do, and you can listen to those guys on Spotify. It's on Canadians in the Great War. Also, I noticed on the Consim forum, the Armchair Dragoons thing, if you want to go and take a look at that, he's doing like a blast from the past kind of thing of his youth, talking about Richthofen's war and the air war. And he says it's still a quite good book. I remember I was mentioning this guy last week in his book there, On a Knife Edge. He does this interesting text interview. So he's the only person doing it on the YouTube from Cambridge University Press. So you just see what the questions are, and then he answers. It's only about 20 minutes long, but it looks like a really darn good book. I'd really like to get that. A quick shout out also to the Conflict Simulations Limited website. Hopefully go to it. I was looking at their newsletter last night, and I actually contacted Ray, and he's like, what are you talking about? So maybe it's just been a long time since I haven't been to the website, but I'm pretty sure I've been there within the month. But anyways, I'd like to go and take a look at it very quickly. It looks really nice. It's got a really nice backdrop. I think it's from his World War II Eastern Front series or whatever. The Battle of Bucharest scenario take 2. That's from Paul Hederer for about his 1916 Romania prelude to Blitzkrieg. That was posted a couple of weeks ago, but it was another playthrough. And yet again, when I was looking at it, and I'm trying to set up, like, some of you guys know the Transylvania Gambit for the Weltkrieg for the Romanian campaign up there. I want to compare that with his thing and so on and so forth. Really neat reading his comments, though, about the fact I think he was the Romanians in it, and realizing that he had to get his line behind a major river. And it's interesting, based on the victory conditions for the Weltkrieg, that's the first thing I'm thinking of is the Romanians. I thank God they've got the first turn. So I'm like, well, we're getting behind the Danube, and just, let the Bulgarians take Constanza. It's not part of the victory conditions. I'm like, we're just getting the hell out of here. This is interesting too. Yet again, like I love these little connections. So Battle Guide, those are the same people more or less on Spotify. Not so quiet on the Western Front, kind of. They just posted this last night on YouTube. Oh, I missed that. There's the Canadian Corps' second Battle of Arras, and that's from the Western Front Association. That just is a recent posting on YouTube. As well as, oh, there's the battle. For darn it, I've got it down there. The Battle of Mont-Sorel, and it's also the Great War has a thing. I don't know if I caught. Oh, there it is. Was World War I pointless? War goals of every major nation. That's about a week old. I haven't watched that yet, but I'm certainly excited to. This got posted last night, and I'm like, what the hell? The Journey of the Wounded, Medical Evacuation in World War I. The reason why I'm saying what the hell is my my creative writing group started up again on well, it's called Moon Garden, and it's interesting. It was on Moon Day, I guess, and the facilitator always mentions, by the way, you know, take a topic, make it big, like see your broad scope of it, narrow it, and then even make it even more narrow. So I've decided yet for my creative writing thing, that's exactly what I was going to do. I've narrowed it down for Zoya Popova, my Russian field nurse, one of the Sister Mercy there. One of the articles I want to do from a newspaper, the wind thing I was telling you about. So I wanted to narrow it down. I'm going to narrow it down to an encounter with her when she's in the shock ward on a field hospital, and she's essentially going to use her executive powers or whatever and get this guy evacuated because he reminds her of one of her brothers. I was like, nice. So I get to watch that. It's going to be great. Okay, let's grab the little doohickey and we can go and take a look at a map as well. So that's it. Yeah, and then we're also going to get to what am I saying is what am I in World War I? Hold on here. I got to get to the. There it is. Here's the number. I'll show it to you there. So it's number 40, 1916, the Battle of Mont-Sorel. I'll tell you what I know. I don't know a hell of a lot so far, but it's pretty darn interesting. I'll pop a map on it, I hope. Hold on here. So I'm going to get rid of this for now. And I got to get a picture up. And it's, yeah, it's I took a screenshot of the YouTube video. Darn it. I don't know who. Jesse Alexander. No, it was from King and Empire. So it was Norm Christie, the Canadian, that was doing. Yeah, that was part of the show I watched this morning. Hold on here. I got to get to the picture. Oh darn! I didn't do the. Haven't edited it yet. I'll edit it very quickly. There we go. It's not a great whatever, but I mean, it's going to show you what the Canadians had to deal with. Harro, Bosma, Gutnab, and I don't know what that means, but you guys do. So there you go. So there, this is part of the Ypres salient. This is the area that the part of the what the Canadians were having to hold at this point, and it was also one of the two spots, basically, essentially that was the best observation points for the Allies towards what the Germans were up to. The Germans wanted to get the Canadians off these spots, and that's exactly what they did at first, from what I know. So the neat thing is, what I like about this battle, when I was reading up on it, is the fact that this is when Julian Byng hops on board and takes over the Canadian Corps. I think at this point in time, also the Canadians have 4 divisions. I think only the first is relatively experienced, battle hardened. The other ones are not, so that's going to cause issues at first. So they get mined and everything. There's some graphic anecdotes and whatnot of people that were a fair distance from it and still feeling the effects of the mines and whatever. Just some amazing stuff. Anyways, so the Germans, from what I know, initially do push the Canadians off. They take pretty bad casualties, and for some, I don't know, whatever reason, the Germans stop, and Ypres is only 3 kilometers away and nothing to stop them from getting there. So, which I anyways, thank goodness it didn't happen if you're on the Allied side. And so Julian Byng hastily mounts a counterattack, from what I know, and it goes wrong. It was a little too hasty, and by the time it gets into motion, it's like broad daylight. The coordinating signals don't work, so on and so forth. They yet again take heavy casualties, but they're able to at least take some positions. He then gives it to Arthur Currie, who's instrumental in taking back everything, more or less. Is still at high cost, but he's like, okay, I'm going to be methodical on this. Let's take our sweet ass time and plan. Let's get some more artillery up here, and so on and so forth, which is exactly what the Germans did on the flip side to prepare for that. They even had tons of reconnaissance going over and making mock-up trenches of the Canadian lines and whatnot. Anyways, I just thought it was interesting. Like, oh, and there's the George Eastman guy is in here. He dies in this, and supposedly shortly after he had just said to somebody, "Oh, it's been 16 months that I've been on the front, and if they're going to get me, they're going to get me by now," or something like that. And supposedly he dies like within minutes of saying that kind of thing. It's just like, Jesus. Okay, so I'm going to stop the screen, and let's just temporarily, because I'll hop to the guy and gal, but I want to start the who or what am I in World War One, because like I said, I think it'll go relatively quick, and it should jive into some other stuff. And yes, William Arends, I am cognizant of the time, and we will get to your ATA, because and I'm kind of glad in a weird way that it wasn't too much of a breakup, a 2-week thingamajig. So I don't know if you guys remember, Paul Hederer will now be on the 12th of October. That's when he's going to come at 9, and not at 9:00 p.m. Oh my gosh, I got to remember that. So hold on here. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to do the banners. So I'm just going to make sure I do it in the right order here. All right. So I've been in the news quite a bit lately. Who or what am I? And of course, you know what I mean by that. I don't mean current event news. I'm talking 1916 here. So so there's your first clue. I've been in the news quite a bit lately. Who or what am I? And then I'm going to get to the pictures. Like I said, I don't. It's not the great. Oh yeah, it's because I did the whatever. So I'm going to show you why. One of the reasons why Maud Allen flees Tolemykus. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I got to go back to the points here. Excellent, but you are incorrect. So there you go. So one of the reasons why she got into a lot of interesting things here, as you're going to see, it's not that provocative, but I guess back in the day it must have been. Is she did Salome in the nude, essentially. She said her body was an instrument, and you don't see other artists or musicians or whatever hiding, putting coverings on their instruments. But so she covered her body in jewels and was dancing around. Oh, Brian R. Smith says Pershing. Excellent, but you are incorrect. Hold on, and I'll show you what she looked like. But I think interesting character is what I gotta. There you go. So that's and I'll get you your next banner. So that's our pinup gal of the week. There's your second clue. Now we'll see what's going to happen. Tolemykus says sulfur powder. You are incorrect, but you're getting a point. That's for sure. I was a member of the International Committee for the organization of the 1896 Summer Olympics. Who am I? Harro Bosma says Matahari. You're incorrect, but you're going to get a point. Where are you there? Yeah, she's quite a captivating looking person, isn't she? Hold on here. I want to see if I can just find out. Okay, so I'll show you the next one. So this is her in, well, it says actually Chopin's Funeral March. So there's another shot of her. And I wanted you also to see, hold on here, if I can find it. I wanted you to see George Eastman if I have him around. No, I don't. But I'm going to, while I'm not showing that, is that Lou Salami? I don't know if you're. I don't know, Meandering Mike, if you're being. The problem is I'm ignorant, right? So I don't know if you're being sarcastic or that is something that you know about more about, like opera wise or something than I do. So I'm just gonna leave it at that and not make a comment. So, but you're getting a point. So I don't even know if that's whatever. But there's the double, that crazy double machine gun thing I was telling you about. So let me go quickly to George Eastman. He'd be in the links, I would assume. Yep. What I found interesting, guys, was that, and she was also in The Rug Maker's Daughter, which was a silent film here, and I'll pop that on in a minute if I can go to my thingamajig. Oh my gosh, we didn't even go to the events thing. I'm going to show you another banner then. I'll give it to you another dude. I'm going to stop the screen for now. We're slightly going all over the place as per usual, I guess, but that's the way it goes. And I'm going to, oh no, I can just share the screen straight up. Hold on here. Am I missing stuff? No, I'm not. All right. Share the screen. Doink, doink. So this is the event. Oh, I got to get rid of me so you guys can see this bigger. So these are the upcoming events that are on, and a fair amount of these are online. So, for example, I'm going to go this Thursday. I'm going to be watching that or whatever. The German military chaplains. Kilroy was here. Says, yes, Miss Maud Allen, you're great to see you. And you're going to get a point. It's neat that you know her, man. Cool. So anyways, this Thursday, German military chaplains is going to be online. So I'm going to, there's the one I'm really interested in, the madman in the White House. So that'll be on Tuesday. And you can also, like I said, sign up live. You don't have to be whatever. But I just wanted you guys to quickly see that. Ooh, Tolkien edition trivia night. Wouldn't that be neat? Mary Pickford, Tolemykus says, you are incorrect, but you're going to get a point. Hold on here. And I'll go back to, where are you? There you are. So yeah, this looks some really good stuff coming up. That's for sure. And I'm going to stop the screen for now, and then I'm going to give you another banner, and then I'm going to go to some pictures, I hope. I was considered a German sympathizer. Who or what am I? And let me get to the narrative, because I know we're going way off base as per usual. Oh yeah, like I said, I got to remind myself that. Oh boy, you're getting close. I should shut up. Brian R. Smith says, I don't think I can pronounce that properly, so I'm gonna hold on here. I can put that in. You are incorrect, but you're going to get a point for that. Oh, that was close. And now I'm going to go to the, this one's going to be a gimme. So you guys better get ready with your lightning round, whatever, or hit your return key. This is going to be a quickie. I was married to the Kaiser's sister, Sophia of Prussia. Who am I? Obviously. So, yeah, a lot of these things, like I said, are, oh yeah, I did want to go to the Conflict Simulations Limited website to show you the new look for sure. And then we can get on to some other stuff. But I also wanted to show you what Corporal Louis George Eastman looked like. So no one's got it yet. What in the world's going on here? There must be something wrong with my the internet or something. I can't believe this. No one's got it. Everybody's gone away. All right, I'm going to give you the last one then. Venizelos hated my guts. Who am I? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to go to, yes, Kilroy was here. You get it. King Constantine I. Yep, well done. So we'll go quickly. I can post a picture of him. Right on. Yeah, he's been in the news left, right, and center, as we know. I'm wondering if Charles Latora would have got it real quick, because he's been babbling on about the king of Greece right now, going, what a, don't trust him, basically, kind of thing, because of the vacillation, what's going on. And then remember the Fourth Corps there, the Greek Fourth Corps or whatever, just picked up sticks and surrendered to the Germans, and it was like, or the Bulgarians, sorry, and then they got set off to Germany. It was like, what the hell? So here you go. And that's causing a lot of grief this week. Holy smokes, it's nuts. So there's King Constantine I. Thank you, Kilroy, for was here. You got it. Or Harro Bosma says a little late, but I'm going to give you a point anyways, because I like you. So there you go. So I'm going to hold on here. I got to pop it in the website so you guys can see. This, it's not a great picture. It's the only picture I could find of George Louis Eastman, the guy there I told you, the Canadian that gets killed at the Battle of Montsorel, but was, as far as I know, famous for catching a bloody grenade and throwing it back. That's insane. So yeah, like I said, not a great whatever here. It did say something interesting, which I found odd. Not sure if it's on this one here, but I'm pretty darn sure somewhere it said that. No, not there. Oh, there it is. By hurling back a hand grenade, which fell in the trench before it could explode. Okay, so well, the anecdote I heard was that he had actually caught it, but maybe this is a bit whatever. But anyways, there you go. I wanted to present that quickly. All right, so hold on here. What else did I want to get to? Oh yeah, the conflict simulations limited. As far as I know, guys, he did change the backdrop. It used to just be straight up black. But I also want to give a shout out. I'm going to have to do a little special thingamajig. Essentially, hold on, I didn't. As far as I know, he didn't have this. Maybe you guys would know, but I don't remember. Like this is fairly recent, as far as I know. Anyways, it looks really darn good. It looks really darn good. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show the World War I thing because actually I've got East Prussia. Oh, I'm starting to set it up, this one. But that game actually, it was kind of like everything kind of like snow, like it was one thing after a bunch of dominoes. If I hadn't seen, I think I mentioned banging on this one again. But if the Player's Aid hadn't done a special or done a show on lesser known publishers, and I didn't get out my pad and paper and whatnot and write down them all, I wouldn't have gone to CSL, Conflict Simulations Limited, and also took a look at Matt White's YouTube video, and he was pretty, he enjoyed playing 1914 East Prussia, The World Undone, and it wasn't that expensive. And it was at that time, the way I got it was made by Blue Panther. So I got those nice big chunky counters, and it made sense to me. I enjoyed playing it, and that essentially is what got me going more towards playing Great War stuff. And then Der Weltkrieg stuck me right in, and now I'll never go back again. More or less, that's the way it goes. Okay, so we got that. Let's go take a look at some maps for a little while, I think, and then. Yeah, we got 30 minutes, and then we can go to the ATA, and we're going to do maybe a weird war summary thingamajig for if we get into after hours land. Like I said, I didn't do one, but I did box in some areas which I thought were they seemed interesting to me, anyways. So hold on here. I'm going to put the links away for now. I don't need to see that. What the hell was I going to say? Oh yeah, we're going to go to maps. So we're just going to go, like I said, just kind of go through the maps or whatever. Was there something I needed to show that I'm not showing that I show every week? No, I think we're all right. So these are all you're going to see. Well, I'll let you see them for goodness sakes. So these are all from, okay, before I show it, they're all from this book here, because I obviously need to show the copyrighty thing or whatever. So it's all from the World War I Atlas there. What's his name? His bloody name. He does a lot of lectures for the Western Front Association. Okay, so hold on here and let me get it into a bigger. I'm going to do it to the width. And please let me know if it doesn't look good or you can't see enough. like maybe I should go away. That will even help. I don't know if that really helped. It's like, let's see if this one will. I don't think so. No, if anything, it made it even worse. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to really read it out, any of these things, but I just thought, I'll bump it up a little bit. Or maybe I should have, hold on here. I just want to see, I can kind of see what you guys see. So I just want to make sure that you guys can kind of see something somewhat legible, for goodness sakes. Hopefully you can see that, the Africa thing here. But yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, just sometimes to get some things into context of where things are all the time. I mean, yet again, am I ever grateful that Charles Latora has been posting his shoots troop games or his playthrough. It's been I think almost everybody is in agreement that that map for German East Africa or whatever is just gorgeous. And it's even more so, isn't it? I think it's a little bit more. It's not just German East Africa. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, it's nice to see. I just thought maybe it would be nice to go through these type of things, just to kind of get some, get a bit of context. Yeah, I haven't seen Crispy Galactic in a couple of weeks either. I hope he's doing well. Or Corvinus Wargaming. Oh my God! Speak of the crazy devil, Charles Latora. I hope you're doing well, man. I know that Corvinus Wargaming was saying though that this time period is difficult for him to see. But yet again, I don't know, you guys, when you see the way the Ottoman Empire is stretched out like this, it's rather interesting. They got a really interesting border to deal with. Schutz's troop map is truly gorgeous. Meandering map. Meandering map. Meandering Mike. I knew even when I was saying that, I was like, I could hear in the back of my mind that going, yeah, I guarantee you, Meandering Mike would agree. And this is kind of nice to see as well. I thought, there we go. I think that's not too bad. Like I said, it's nice to sometimes get things into context. Like I said, I'm not going to read all this out, but I do want to get to one little bit image. I was actually scanning this. Oh, great to see you, Eric Goebel. It's been ages, man. I hope you're doing well. I do know that you were mentioning way back when, though, that summertime is, that's the way it goes with a lot of people. So I hope you're doing well. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of take a look at this, but there is a little bit. I was scanning this just actually when you popped on there just before the show started there, Tolemykus, of the Macedonian front. I wanted, because it's like we're talking about that, like it's getting pretty crazy right now. So just wanted to see that, guys. You see this area again. It's just nice to see. I'll get to another one. We're doing pretty good for time, considering that, like I said, I didn't even expect to be doing anything today. I thought for sure it was going to be a breeze day, my slacker week, and then it was like, oops. Eric Goebel says, summer is settling down finally, more time for relaxing. Right on, man. The Isonzo battles, 1915 to 1917. Yet again, it's like I said, I'm not going to read any of this stuff, but it's just, nice to kind of see. And then you can see the battles there. And I guess, like, where's I wonder if that's like around here. Like, is that the Caporetto one? I don't know what date the Caporetto one is. But okay. Actually, on a side note, talking about trying to scale things down is in preparation to do an article eventually for the World War I Association. Like I said, I've got to prep myself. I'm not going to just jump in the deep end doing stuff. I'm not a proper writer or whatever, but I'm going to try to learn the craft, for goodness sakes. I wanted to obviously do an article on something I'm interested in, but I was like, I also have to do something that other people may be interested in as well. And I was going to do it on Svetozar Borevich, but I was like, no, do like you're just doing with the Moon Garden as well. Scale it down a bit. So I'm going to do Borevich before the Italian front kicks in. So when his time in Galicia, I thought maybe that would be an interesting way of going about it. And like I said, it'll be nice and slow. So yeah, it'll be nice someday whenever I get around to it. Like I said, is have these side pictures going through the week that was and all that stuff. And yet again, William Arends, I can't wait to get back to your maps. So this I found interesting. I think this was proposed by General Smuts, if I do believe. It says somewhere around here. I was like, what? Is it not? Yes, here it is. So General Smuts, for goodness sakes, proposed the League of Nations mandate, which I didn't know anything about. And I guess it didn't work so well. It was kind of like pseudo control or proxy control of all these guys. Like I said, I don't know Sweet Kiel. So there's the Ottoman Empire again. We can take a look at that. There's the Berlin to Baghdad railway and all that stuff. Amazing. That's why you can see how important it was for them to take out Serbia and get Bulgaria properly on board, eh? Jeepers jumping. Oops, sorry if you're not. There you go. Just neat to see. And there's the Sykes-Picot plan, which I don't know too much about, but I guess that's the thing that caused a lot of grief. Is this, well, I know it gets, well, you can see it gets planned out in 1916, but I don't know if this is what they used for the Versailles Treaty or any of that stuff. I don't know anything. And then there's the Romanian invasion of Transylvania, which is happening right now. Oh, I can't wait to talk to Paul Heder about some stuff, especially now that this is happening in real time, you know. We can already see, even like with the articles, you can see that. It's like, with Mackinson and whatnot, attacking from the south, from Bulgaria and whatnot. You're just like, oh boy, things are starting to not go well pretty quick. So there's the Trentino offensive, which we were talking about. Neato. And there's Verdun. But like I said, I honestly believe, William Arends, your maps are better than these ones for Verdun, as far as I'm concerned. Still, it's neat to see all the forts. Yeah, you guys can see a little bit. Okay, that's it. So now we're going to go to... Let's go to the war, the week that was. Then we'll go to your ATA. That kind of, like I said, we kind of break it apart. It's not too close to the war summary. How do I do that? It's in the thingamajig. Okay, hold on here. I got to pop it up in the week, and then we go to there. Yeah, it's. I think people have been mentioning it as well, and you see it a lot in the headlines. Wow, I don't know who the commenter was earlier this week that mentioned. Do you imagine what people were thinking about, because they hadn't seen a tank yet, so they're just getting the word tank or land ship or whatever for, they're just reading it in the text, and it was like, of course, all this imagination going on, and I was like, I just thought, wow, what an insightful comment. That was really good. Okay, hold on here. Good morning, Mini Warmut. Great to see you, man. Hope you're doing awesome. Yeah, we just finished looking at a bunch of maps, and now we're going to do the week that was, and then we're going to go to William Arends's the Arends attrition. Am I doing it right? There are more in the book than I can send you. Oh, excellent. I can't remember how I'm doing it. The Arends translation attrition. Thank God I get it. All right, let's just shut up and go. So here we go. The week that was September 15th to the 1st, 1916. On the 15th, British advanced to a 6-mile front. Damn it. I forgot to do this just before the live stream too. There was a bunch like Martin Puy. I don't know if that's how you say it. And I was like, darn it, you got to go to the search engine and get those people that will speak it out for you. I'm like, ah. Anyways, of a depth of 2,500 yards with Fleur, Martin, I'm going to just go with Puy, Courcelette, and a whole of high wood is taken. The new heavy armored cars, tanks, are used for the first time north of Pozières to the east of Guillemont. Yeah, it was like I said, that other article there that was like, these armored cars use their own rails. You know, it's like they don't know. It's still like fast. Everybody and their dog are talking about tanks right now. It's just like, whoa. French cat. I mean, imagine if it was like in mass-produced land right now, you'd probably already have Disney making some freaking games, little toys for it, for God's sakes. French captured trenches south of Rancourt and system of trenches north of La Prise Farm, south of Somme and east of Denecourt. Italians take San Grado in the lower Isonzo and strong entrenchments towards Lochiza and east of something, with over 18,000 prisoners taken. General Smuts's columns reached the south of Uluguru Hills and joined near and then occupy Kasaki. Van de Winter, approaching the great Ruha River towards Mahonge. Sudi Bay is occupied by British naval forces. Hold on, where's my water? Damn it. Hold on, I gotta do it. Oh, I moved it because I was scanning. That's why I don't have it there. 16th of September, new cabinet is formed under Mr. Kalogeropoulos, and Athens is expected to observe benevolent neutrality towards the Entente. Damn it, I got to go and look up later, Brian R. Smith, if you can remember, or just pop it again back in the comments. So I don't have to go scroll up. The name clue that you, the Greek guy that you mentioned, because I don't know who that person is, and I'd like to go and look it up for sure. Lindy, important. Yeah, and please. Oh yeah, Charles Latora. Let us know if you're, you know, when you like when you're going to do another video posting for Schutztrupp or whatever. I'm just like, I told you, once it gets available at that store there, Great Board Games, the one there, it's in Kitchener with William Arends. Once that's there in stock, I really want to buy it, but I'm not getting it through any other way because I go get annihilated with shipping costs. In the Halis front, Russians capture a position right on the right bank of Zlota Lipa and take many prisoners. Along the Nordjoka, many Germans are taken captive as well as Turks. Yeah, it's really interesting now to find out that there's Turks fighting up in Galicia. It's like, what? But you got Russians fighting in the Western Front, so, you know, in France. So what the hell? In Dobruja, this is not the way you spell it, General Averescu, which is Charles Latora, that dude, that's the general that just took over, the Romanian commander. Chief of the Romanian army arrives at the front. Like I said, he seems like a bit of a tough as boots type of a guy. Romanians occupy Baraltu, now dominating the railway from Barasso to Foldavar, 30 miles from the Romanian frontier. To say this on a side note, I know that I knock Der Weltkrieg quite a bit about, you know, their combat thing. Majig is, you know, it's low strength points, and trust me, when you see the setup there, you're like, oh my god, this looks like another boar fest from hell. There's a lot of reinforcements coming in later on in the game, a ton actually, and I'm starting, and the victory conditions are interesting. That's all I got to say. So it's like, based on the interesting victory conditions and that there's a lot of reinforcements coming through, I'm like, there's actually, I think, an interesting game up there. But I think if you're looking for bang, 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 bang every 5 seconds, like tons of combat type of things, that's probably not what you're going to get. You're going to get a different, kettle of fish, but an interesting problem set as far as I'm concerned. Near Courcelette, the British front advanced 1,000 yards. The Danube, and there's a side note with the game, Der Weltkrieg, Harro Bosma says, for those with Netflix, The Long Road to War, I'm going to pop your thing on there, is a great documentary on the period leading up to World War I. Ooh, thanks for letting me know. Let me write this down. I don't have Netflix, Harro Bosma, but I'll go and look this thing up. The Long Road to War. Thanks, man. So anyways, with the Danube in Der Weltkrieg, in order for you to attack across there's tons of restrictions. Like, you're only allowed one hex to one hex attack. There's none of these combined things. But you need an engineer stacked with your units to attack across the Danube. Stuff like this. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. And they've got flotillas as well, riverboat flotillas, which are interesting as well. And they've got a wicked, instead of a zone of control of 1 hex, they've got a 2 hex interdicting fire zone they can do. And their attack strength is tripled. So they're basically like a 2 hex wall. It's really neat if people are trying to hop across. It's like, okay, I'm in. The Danube trench is taken in Malkay Farm near Thipval is captured. And I'm going to, I can keep your thing on for now. Well, I'll hide it for now. So because I'll forget is what's going to happen. But I'm in the contents. Stefanos, oh, thank you. I'm putting your comment on though. Stefanos Dragomis was Greek prime minister in 1910 and was in cabinet during World War I. Apparently favored the entry of Greece to the Entente. Thanks, man. I'm going to leave your thing on for a while because it's pretty, it's a long sentence or whatever. And you can still see what I'm reading. French attack. There's another one I really want to know how to say eventually. Oh, shit, hurry up here. So we're going beyond William Arends, that's for sure. But I need to focus. That place I can't say. And Bernay with Dinecourt now surrounded. Romanians moving towards Petrosny and Hastag. Italian success on the Carso. British attack and occupy Mazar in the North Sinai, and the Turks withdraw to El Arish. September 18th, the New South Wales Political Labour League carries resolution expelling Prime Minister Hughes from the Labour movement. British airplanes bomb enemy airdrome in the Sherman Bend above Kut El Amara. British air raid Bir El Tawal, 30 miles southeast of El Kubri in the Suez. Russian troops enter Florina, Macedonia, with the enemy retreating on Monastir. Serbs occupy parts of Mount Kaima. Forget it. Heavy fighting at Merazor in Transylvania, with Romanians moving towards Hastag. In Dobruja, Russia, Romanians fall back to the Rosovo-Tuzla line. South of the Ankh, British advance, taking quadrilateral between Boulot Wood and Ganchy on the front of a mile of a depth of 1,000 yards. French take Dinecourt. 19th of September, bad weather hinders both British and French operations. Desperate fighting on the Norwolja River police region, with Germans claiming success here and on the stockade, with many prisoners taken. Heavy fighting in the defile of Merazor in Transylvania west of Petrosny, with the battle lasting 2 days, and the Romanians are successful. Romanians in Dobruja holding the Rasova-Tuzla position, defending the railway at Bucharest-Constanza, is heavily engaged. In Galicia, heavy fighting reported to be going on for 3 days. The Serbo-Russian-French army advances, making great turning movement in their march on Monastir. Belgians under, I thought this was kind of neat. He's almost like the same name in a way. General Tombert occupied Tabora. You know what I mean, kind of. Allied blockade of the Greek Macedonian coast from River Struma to River Mesto. Mr. Briand speaks against the dissident socialist faction of the Chambers. 20th September. Greek government demands from Germany the return of the 4th Army Corps that surrendered at Kavala and were sent to Germany. Fascinating story, man. There's a lot of stuff on that. It's wicked to read. Albanian government of Esad Pasha set up in Salonika. Portuguese troops crossed the Rovuma River, separating German from Portuguese East Africa. Guaranteed it's on your map, Charles Latora. British occupied Kisweri port. Italians advanced east of Gorizia near Santa Caterina and on the Carso, east of the Valone. North of the Vulcan Pass in Transylvania, Romanians fall back south to south of Petrosny. Mackelson halts into Dobruja, though, with Germans, Bulgars, and Turks in retreat after a severe repulse. On the stockade, severe fighting near the Kovel-Rovno railway, with the enemy everywhere is repulsed. German counteroffensive against French fails. I know, William Arends, we can still do a third part. Or I'm just saying, we're going to do as much as we can for you, man. Well, us is what I'm saying. But like I said, your contribution is bar none amazing. From Calm to the river, which was an attack of 6 divisions that suffered heavy losses. South of the Ankh, Germans during the night attacked New Zealand troops without success. 21st of September at Verdun. French take trenches southeast of the Thielmont work and over 200 prisoners. South of the Ankh, During night, British troops advanced between Flers and Martinpuy. In Transylvania, the Romanian left held up near Vulcan Pass, south of Petrosny, fighting in Kilman and the Gorgini Mountains, with the Romanians taking prisoners. Allies pressing along the roads north of Florina. Serbians within sight of Monastir. German submarine destroyed at Hagios Cosmos, east of Phaleron, Greece. General Duport, I think it's a U there, chief of the staff attached to Ministry of War in Paris. That's it. Excellent. You're gone, buddy. So now we can go straight to the narrative. No, we're going to the ATA. Excellent. You can see that. I'm going to hide your thing, Brian R. Smith. Thanks for letting me know who he is, or us know, I should say. Continuation of the editorial, the second year of the war, from the German East Africa News, and this is from William Arends. We thankfully can look back on those things that our united people have brought forth in a unified effort, while being aware of the difficulties facing them over these last 2 years. We must be most thankful for the change in spirit that our people have fully exhibited. When in the previous year, on the 9th of December 1915, Dr. Landsberg of the Social Democratic Party of Germany spoke during a session of the Reichstag, the National Assembly, in which he addressed the delusional view of the French that the war could end only with a return of Alsace-Lorraine to them. He then, on behalf of his party, did exclaim, whoever would yield the knife to cut away a part of Germany, such as Alsace-Lorraine, they would then find, and when and where that would happen, that the whole German people will rise up to defend themselves against such an action and will knock that knife out of the hand that holds it. Just going to say on a side note, I'm thinking about on a knife edge, the Holger Affelbach dude. This is sounding an awful lot of like when it's going well for Germany, they're like rah rah, and when it's not going so well, they're like maybe we should go for a settled peace. And it's just, and yet again, they're using the knife motif. I think is really neat. Thus, this is the evidence of our unity of thought that previously what was one of our greatest shortcomings, I've got to get that book, is finally being laid aside, but it's expensive hardcover. It's $60 Canadian. I'm like, ooh, maybe I can find it, but it's pretty recent too, darn it. No longer will we divide ourselves over vague humanistic ideals of a birthday gift, Zoe Dufour. No longer will we divide ourselves over vague humanistic ideals of either the opinion of one person or the ideology of a political party, while treating that as the decisive factor in our lives. Instead, now our entire people have the interests of the fatherland as the highest held principle over all others. Oops, I'm not seeing the comments. That would suck. History has taught our German people, Volk, a hard and bloody lesson, something that has finally been learned and understood. Send me the link. Excellent. Well, yeah. Well, it's actually in the sources and links on the YouTube channel. You could go there and you'll see Holger Afflerbach or something his name is. And then just look it up on Amazon. I'm terrible. Oh my God. Just get the soft cover. It's only $30. Don't be silly. History has taught our that the reason for the existence, and don't do it. I'm being a dink. That the reason for the existence of our intelligent and courageous people, I'm just having fun with it. Courageous people has no meaning if we do not achieve victory. And what is best about this is that in this time, not only a great part of the people, rather the whole Volk, from those in the highest positions in society to the simplest agricultural worker, have had to learn the same lesson. That is, the multiple of opinions that have previously been points of argument following every decision of the government, causing endless division and strife between our people, will in the future disappear. Either while the formerly entitled critics of such measures cease to do so. Remember, if there's any mistakes, it's my fault. I didn't edit it properly. In acts of self-censorship or elsewise, that the demands and requests of the government are now seen to have been made in the interests of the entire population, and also that the people generally hold to a common rightful understanding. That great obstacle, hindrance to our development, that distrust of one particular political party against another one, has been put aside by this war, That's that agreement. Remember at the very beginning they were talking about, but that dude there, we were also talking about, darn, I can't remember his name, Lifeblock or something or other. But anyways, he's there. He got executed later on after the war, remember, by those hyper-nationalist Germans, because he wanted to set up a communist state, a Soviet state in Germany, for Christ's sakes, afterwards. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Freely, we must have a portion of goodwill, having learned what should be held on to and what we should follow or take to heart. And when we change our sight to the great circumstances of the European theater of war, from that of our colony, we see the same joyful picture as we see here at home as well. Not only have our troops themselves put the enemy to the test, but also that the economic sectors have brought forth a great achievement from the singular work of our people on the home front that makes a dignified place of honor for themselves. Is this still from East Africa? If it is, holy shoot, like this is real good stuff. The world looks astounded at the ability of Germans to act with power, German diligence, and the German talent for organization, if they alone first have gotten to know their entire capacities. We should not have, oh my God, yeah, we're not going to be able to read it all, but I'll try to find a spot where we can stop, William Arends, because we got another 7 pages to go through. We should not have to mention yet again that this is the pioneers of the German people in far-off lands that also take their part in this war. Plus, kind of like milking out the last African news bit, you know, I kind of be like, you know what I mean? Let's do that. Yeah, we'll stop here, because I'll show you the Balkan thing, and that should be enough. Then I'll do kind of like a pseudo after hours, won't be very long. Then these Teutonic virtues are recognized world, and I don't even have to go to YouTube or any of that stuff. Then these Teutonic virtues are recognized worldwide during this conflict, and how they will naturally fight to the last round of ammunition and to the last drop of their blood. Thank you, William Arends. Like I said, I'm going to stop it for now, and I know where we're at. The next paragraph, edited thing. Nice. And yeah, hold on. I can get rid of this entirely now because I'm just going to go to, lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you the Balkans. It's not called the Balkans map. Not the Balkans. Oh, we're in the wrong thing. Hold on here. Yeah, this is good. Showed you that. I showed you that. Showed you the Mount Sorel thing. Well, there's the Macedonian thingamajig. So this is a scan from that book. Remember, I think I've mentioned this yet again. It's a freaking amazing book, that handbook of World War I. It's like just an amazing reference guide. Just fantastic. Hold on here. But I did want to show this because, like I said, the Macedonian fronts. I'm not showing the whole thing. Obviously, there's way more than this. I want to see if you can. Wow, I'm getting the idea now. So here we go. I'm not going to read it out, but I wanted you guys to wanted you guys to take a look at it. And also, yet again, a bunch of us were head scratching before, like, when exactly did the French and British land troops in Greece, like in Salonika? I'm having like, anyways, you can see as this early in January, late January 1915. It's the freaking prime minister, man. The Greek prime minister proposes Allied landing in Greece to help Serbia. William Arends says, you only had one more paragraph of that editorial. Next page started after the essay. Oh, shoot. Okay. Hold on there. Britain, and you can see here, but yet again, like you can see, there's a lot of things going in here. I did a copy of the Kilroy episode on that book based on your, oh, cool. Nice one. I have to go take a look for sure then, man. But there you can see by here, this is so late September 1915 is where they're finally starting to land troops in Salonika. But I just thought this was interesting to see how quick they're already figuring it out, because remember something about the Weltkrieg setup. I thought for sure there's like a French unit you put in there fairly early, and I was like, what's going on here? But so there you go. I just wanted to just do this little bit. So we have a tiny little bit of time, William Arends. I'll go and see if I can find a thing. Sorry about that. See if I can find it again. Hopefully it put me. No, it didn't. But hold on. I'll get back to the thing. Okay, so I'm going to have to go watch your thing there. Kilroy was here for sure. Thanks, man. Where are you? Okay, the next paragraph was edited out by the censor. Thank you. William Arends. I didn't see that properly. And it's neat that you say that, because in the one of the, if we're going to do the after hours kind of pseudo thing, something is about being censored out. It's from a German whatever. So here we go. The next paragraph was edited out by the censor. Oops. We have here as have our brothers in our homeland put all private and personal interests and wishes behind us. Before we can rebuild again everything that has been ruined, we must first consider that one goal must be achieved, a peace that gives us our rightful economic and cultural position in this world, and that history will assign us peace that will provide us every justice against the repeated crimes that have been attempted against our German spirit, while they seek to eradicate us from this world. Wow. The task of every competent German must be to achieve our goals in the best possible way. The translator's note, the writer of this editorial must have been living in his own delusional world as he writes of the joyful nature of the life in his colony, that in a few days will have the main port, Dar es Salaam, and the administrative capital, Morogoro, overrun by British and South African force, and with that, the ending of the printing of the German East Africa News. Thank you, William Arends. I'll stop the screen there. We're going to go now. Like I said, I'm just going to continue on doing like a pseudo after hours. For everybody that normally just hangs out for an hour, great to see you. Thank you so much for showing up and contributing. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. But like I said, I'm still going to stay on here. I'm just going to go to the war summary. I think it's only back to number 6 where I've got it. Yeah. Okay. So, and I think if I do it this way, hold on. I think it should be not too bad, but I've got to present the screen. All right. That's good. Yeah, like I said, it's just a few highlights, and we'll go that relatively whatever. I'll try to read them out a bit. I just found these rather interesting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. On the French front, north of the Somme, it is announced that the German positions were violently bombarded yesterday. This probably presages a renewal of the assault during the night. Mont Saint-Quentin, the one strong elevation line between the French city of Péronne and the town of Combles, will be the next points of attack. The failure of the recently constructed German trenches, both north and south of the Somme, to resist the tremendous battering of the artillery of the Allies would seem to indicate the possibility of fighting in the open field before the end of the autumn campaign. It has been known for some time that large bodies of cavalry were being held behind the British and French lines in the hope that a breach would be made in the enemy's fieldworks sufficiently wide to permit cavalry to advance through the gaps and work havoc among the lines of the enemy's communications. All reports from the front during the past week show that the trenches are no longer the elaborate fortress-like affairs captured during the early part of the advance, but are hastily constructed and not provided with the deep underground dugouts and galleries necessary to withstand the pounding of high explosives. It may be that there will be use before long for the cavalry, whose presence until recently has been the object of much merriment on the Western Front. I found, well, like I said, I found that a really interesting segment to this war summary, especially with, this is a big thing with Douglas Haig from what I remember of him thinking that he could break through and eventually start sending, popping in, I think this is it for number 6, some cavalry and whatnot, and, you know, getting back to open warfare. There we go. I just missed one. An official British review of the great struggle of the last week on the Somme front states that since July 1st, the British alone have been confronted on the battlefield by 35 divisions of the German army, about 700,000 men, and that 29 divisions have been defeated and withdrawn exhausted. It is difficult to understand how the enemy can hold on for another year at the pace set by General Haig's army. The French also have cut up many German divisions during the past 2.5 months on their front, both north and south of the river. I'm going to say this on a side note, yet again, it reminds me of a head-scratching moment I had a few weeks ago, and I was like, 7/10 of the French army saw action at some point during the Battle of Verdun. I was like, what? And it then clicked in because it was part of Pétain's, I think it was Pétain's system there of rotating the divisions out when they hit a certain threshold. I can't remember what it was. But once you hit a certain threshold, he rotated you out and put in fresh, fresh, straight out division, not whittle them down like the Germans, which caused the Germans a bit of head scratching because they thought they were really, they thought all this whatever. They thought they were using the same strategy as they were. So they're like, yeah, we're like, you know, we're really crushing all these divisions out and whatnot. And you can also see why La Voie Sacrée was so important there, the sacred way. Holy smokes. I mean, to get those trucks back and forth to do what they were doing. But it's just fascinating. Remember also that grim thing I read there in Live and Let Live there where I think it's from that book where they were talking about during the Battle of Verdun because they know what's happening. Like, and they were like, any news about the other division or any about or other parts of their division, like hoping that they were going to be whittled down to nothing because that could reduce the overall percentage of the division and they would get out. It's like, holy fuck, that's grim, but it's like you're trying to survive. Just crazy business though. All right, there's not too many left. So, but you're going to start seeing here, which I thought was pretty neat, was the writing is starting to go on the wall here about that the Romanians are in trouble in the south. On the southern Romanian front, the stage is being set for a pitched battle between the Russo-Romanian army and von Mackensen's invading Bulgar-German host. He is the last person I would want to see on the battlefield facing me. I'm telling you that much. The point chosen by the Romanians for their attempt to stop the enemy's advance in some 55 miles north of the frontier and a few miles south of the railway that runs across the Dobruja from the Danube to the Black Sea. Remember that quote they had, the Germans had that quote, where is, what's his name? Darn it. I can't, starts with an S. It was, what's his face's, Mackensen's second in command. Where you find him, you'll find Mackensen or whatever. And when you find Mackensen, you will always find success. It was just like, forget it. They win all the time. Not all the time. We just found out, remember a little while, I think maybe that was that was the Battle of Van. Where they did get stopped by the Romanians, and Mackensen was he was leading them. Reinforcements have been received from Romania and from Russia, and on the relatively narrow front of less than 40 miles, an entrenched position can be taken up that may hold von Mackensen at bay till the development of the Salonika offensive forces the Bulgars to withdraw from the Dobruja. In Transylvania, the Romanians continue their march of conquest, apparently assured that the Danube will not be crossed by the Bulgars. Yeah, that's why I said you keep hoping. Okay, yeah, there's not too many left. I think there's maybe all 12. I don't know. From Berlin comes a dispatch in which this is the guy, Charles Latora. This is the guy William Arends was talking about when I mentioned the censor. I was thinking about this guy here. Comes a dispatch in which Karl von Wiegand, staff correspondent at the German capital for the New York World, I'd like to look that thing up, states that from his personal knowledge of the German system of defense, there is even now no indication that the Allies will break through. Then he adds, there is, however, considerable probability that the French and English will still have other local successes, and that the Germans may fall back at a number of points, if for no other reason than to straighten their lines, the standpoint of the General Staff appearing to be to hold tight to unimportant ground so long as it means loss to the Allies, but that the loss of a few miles does not affect in the slightest the situation on the whole. In view of the greatly exposed situation of Peronne and Comble, it would not be surprising if those 2 points were to pass into the hands of the Allies. but with the German positions farther back, to which I referred in my August dispatches to the world. And then it gets censored. The correspondent's message, the world states, ends abruptly with this word apparently having been cut off by the censor. In the August dispatches referred to, von Wigand told of seeing the German reserves in the rear of the battle line and his surprise at their number and apparent strength. He also described a complete reserve fortified line well in the rear of the battle front, on which 300,000 men were hard at work and which was rapidly becoming even stronger, he said, than the lines which the Allies were then battering. I don't know if that's the beginnings of the Hindenburg line, but it certainly does sound like it, doesn't it? And here's a couple of other guys. When a dispatch is permitted to get out of Berlin, suggesting the possibility of the evacuation of Peronne and the taking up of a fresh position well to the rear to the enemy, the enemy gives unmistakable evidence of exhaustion. That's also a change of tack. Remember, Falkenhayn just got turfed a couple of weeks ago, and they brought in Hindenburg and Ludendorff, and they're both like, this ain't working, man. So, like, fall back and shorten the line. Hindenburg is devoting most of his attention to the Eastern situation. He is credited with, remember we were mentioning that last week as well, that their new strategy is basically hold everywhere except the Balkans, more or less. They're going after Romania, hardcore. When Hindenburg is devoting most of his attention to the Eastern situation. He is credited with the belief that the war may yet be won in the Eastern Sphere. Von Mackensen seems to be well supported in his campaign in southern Romania. Berlin reports that the new Russo-Romanian lines across the Dobruja have been pierced in several places. There is no time to dally on this front, for news of the fall of Monastir may send the Bulgars, who form the bulk of Mackensen's army, scurrying back any day to defend their own land. The latest dispatches from southwestern Macedonia point to an early evacuation by the Bulgars of the entire valley of the Cerna, including Monastir. I'm wondering if this is part of that thing. Remember I'm not sure if it was a couple of weeks ago, but it was a little while ago where they had that conference. Everybody and their dog was there. Kaiser, King Ferdinand, so on and so forth. I'm wondering if that was part of their pseudo coordination of saying, we're going to give Mackensen actually control of this. I mean, if they're mentioning a lot of Bulgarians in the army and whatnot, I'm wondering if that's a bit, they're not exactly like the Entente where they're really, well, they're still not doing it yet, not until Foch gets it in 1918 or 17 or whatever. Is this the end of it? Let's see. Oh, what is unquestionably the most important news of the day is contained, and it's about the tanks, I think, isn't it? No, it is not. This is about the Falkenhayn note or whatever. What is unquestionably the most important news of the day is contained in a report by General Haig to the War Office that a captured document dated August 24th and signed by von Falkenhayn, the chief of the general staff, states that the wastage of guns in the last few months has been considerably in excess of production. The same is true of the ammunition in our reserves, of which there's been a serious diminution. It is the duty of all ranks, not only in the artillery, to endeavor to remedy this serious state of things. All ranks must make a most serious endeavor to assist in the preservation of material, as indicated above, for otherwise making good the losses and placing formations in the field will be rendered impossible. I think this could kind of be it. Let's see. Well, we are in the 12. Oh, shit, I got another one. I do want to say this about that bit, though, because remember at the very end of, I guess you want to call it phase one of the Battle of Verdun, in the sense that it's all Germany doing it or whatever, and then it lurches. At that end, and now it's France is going to start going at it till Christmas, essentially, I think, is at that bit, they were mentioning that the big, in that Pursuit of Glory book there, Alistair Horn, the big Bertha guns by now were starting to break down like at a crazy pace. And lots of times, yet again, they were limited to how many times they fired a gun. not because they were running out of ammunition. It was because it was like to save the gun, man. That type of stuff, and just coming up with all kinds of bizarre ways to get it to make it back, and so on and so forth. Really neat stuff. The only weak spot in the vast circle of steel the Allies have thrown about, the Central Powers, here we go, is on the new Romanian front. Von Mackensen is trying to crush Romania, and not merely to prevent her from occupying Transylvania and attacking Bulgaria. In the Dobruja, a large Bulgar German army has now won a number of important victories. Let's be honest, it's pretty interesting. This guy's being pretty candid. This is an Allied newspaper, man. It is now met with what Berlin speaks of as hastily brought up reinforcements. The enemy, it is said, is defending his positions with great stubbornness. Meandering makes this, I used to love the Costco Western hazelnut bread, but not much else. Oh, I'm not even reading, because I'm like, what? Does that got anything to do with this? Chris, I will get some more turns done of Shoot Strip this weekend, some minis too. Excellent. Need to do some chores too, recyclers in Costco. Doesn't like the Costco breads. No, if you're gone, Charles Latora, great to see you. Awesome. Thank you again for showing that game. I can't wait to see it on my table, man. Where the hell are we? There, the Germans sent to prevent an inundation of Hungary by a Slavic Romanian wave have begun to come into action. With their aid, the Austrians have defeated a body of Romanian troops near Holzing in the southwestern Transylvanian Alps, have recaptured the town of Petrozny, and reoccupied the Vulcan Pass. I just have an inner smile every time I get to say that. That door is still shut again, but it will take a good many Germans to drive the Romanians out of eastern Transylvania, which is firmly in the grip of the army of occupation. It's also, as we know, remember looking at Paul Hederer's stuff, it's a god-awful mess of a mountain range. Logistics must be a nightmare. The situation on the entire Romanian front is far from satisfactory, and will so remain until General Sure, by a smashing defeat on the Bulgars on the Salonika line, forces them to turn from the Danube to Macedonia. I think this is it. This is it. No. It's the very last one. Because it's number 12. Greece appears to be making out a case against, that's about the Fourth Corps again, against Germany on a charge of abducting and forcibly detaining a Greek army corps. That should prove a fairly good reason for going to war, particularly as there's not the slightest reason to suppose that Germany will yield to the demand of the Greek government and ship the missing army corps to Athens. Okay, now I'm going to stop the screen. And I'm going to thank you guys and gals so much for showing up. Like I said, I hope you guys have a great gaming weekend and a great gaming week to you. Thanks again, Charles Latora. Thanks again, William Arends, Tolemykus, Brian R. Smith, Eric Global. Great to see you again. Kilroy is here. Really nice to see you. Mini Warmutt, Meandering Mike, Zoe Dufour, of course. Thank you so much is what I got to say. Remember, 2 weeks from now, it'll be awesome to have Paul Hederer here with answering. It's kind of like I said, it's the virtual host will be Harro Bosma. It'll be kind of like the Cambridge University Press interview that I watched in a weird way, where you're going to be asking the questions silently kind of thing, which I think is kind of neat. So anyways, that's it. Fantastic. Great time, guys. Thank you so much. Off I go.